Yeah.
That's why if you're charging at 45 dB outside of a residence.
And it's a little confusing because I mentioned this 106 as a sound power level.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm asking you right now, because that would probably interpret it. Someone's going to say it's 160 dB.
Yeah.
I'm asking what dB.
That's a good question. Yeah, around 60. So that's about the conversation we're in right now.
Normal everyday routine around it.
Anybody else on the board here? Should I unleash it to these folks or you got after the
Do you want to moderate for us? Or?
Yes.
How about you do that and we'll happy to answer any of the
Start
questions.
with Luke in the back.
Mr. O'Neal, have you been here before? This is to Parishville and Hopkinton?
Yes, I was here for the open house back in March.
Okay. Was it your company that set up a sound tester next to a snow machine trail?
We did set up some ambient machines, yes.
Ambient sound
The background sound testing.
Snow machine trail right after a big snowfall, right?
Yeah.
And right when a monster truck went through at 2 a.m. in the morning.
I mean,
I know it wasn't your truck.
we can't control what
Yeah, but
traffic or something goes by.
Using a snowmobile trail does seem a little skewed. Ambient sound testing.
Well,
That's unfair.
Let me answer that, please. So as you saw from that graph I showed you before, where the sound goes up and down, that one of the things we have to report is what's called the L90. So the L90 is going to filter out. It's not going to report those sharp or those spikes, if you will, of a snowmobile going by. It's going to filter them out. The state's looking for that.
You mean it's going
So
to average
that's
it?
going to be taken.
You mean it's going to average?
It's not going to be considered.
It doesn't average. Those numbers the numbers come out. They're not averaged. It's not averaged. What Rob's saying is that the number comes out. So and the state looks at that when they're reviewing the ambient data. They're not going to just take whatever Rob says. They will be reviewing the data. They'll be looking to make sure.
I have another question.
Then why choose that location?
One person at a time.
Yeah, please, Patty.
Mr. Ollison, I have seen it before at the county legislature, and I'm wondering why you're using World Health Organization data from 1999, 2009, and when you're talking about sleep disturbance, you're only counting what wakes somebody up. And there's other measurements of people tossing and turning and not being settled sleep. There's a difference. We've all gone through a night where it was very unsettled, but we weren't actually waking up.
Yeah, and in fact, so try to get to the answer as quickly as I can. But yeah, so the reason that we're using the World Health Organization numbers is that these are very comprehensive reviews that were done over a long period of time with, literally dozens of noise, sleep, health experts from around the world. And really, as you can see, the matching up to the 1999 number was the Health Canada data specifically to wind turbines of the 46 decibels. And sorry, I shouldn't have left you with the impression that we're only looking at sleep disturbance awakening. It's actually, it's much more finer refined than that. So the Health Canada, the Fitbits, the actimeters they were wearing, they actually were reporting not just awakenings, but disturbance. And there's a whole bunch of different metrics by which they're looking at that, the tossing, the turning, all of those things. So yeah, you're right. It's not just, you don't have to be just woken up abruptly for that to count. It's actually that sub-awakenings. The only reason I was showing the European study was that just was another metric that they were looking at, was the total awakenings. So when you look at noise guidelines, and in fact, as you go kind of further back, noise is probably one of the best studied environmental health issues out there. Studied for 50, 60 years. We've known for a long period of time we want to keep that noise low so that we're not actually having these impacts. So it is much more refined, and you're right, that it's not just awakening. And again, that if you look at that, I put more stock in the Health Canada study now, plus some of the other studies that have been done as well. There are others out there, because it's specific to turbines, and they did a very good sleep study.
Did they consider Wolf Island?
Wolf Island was one of the test areas that they were looking at. So I don't believe that, if I remember correctly, so Wolf Island, outside of Kingston, just across the way, with a number of turbines, they used it as one of their sort of test sites first before doing the broader study. So they did actually do some work there, but it was just a test case to then design the study to move it out to the other projects.
Here.
Yes, I had a quick question. We've discussed a lot about different noise levels using the WHO numbers, looking at the European and Canadian studies. In the United States, and with your experience, how often are those numbers used or cited by planning boards or other administrative boards in creating their wind laws? Are they leaning more towards numbers, international numbers or ANSI numbers, or?
It's really all over the map.
It's all over the map.
We're gonna tell you, so I'll give you sort of a kind of consistency as we move across the country. 45 tends to be a very common number in a lot of ordinances. But if you're in the Midwest, so if you're in South Dakota, North Dakota, if you're in many of those areas there, the number's 50. Almost everywhere the number's 50. So for example, North Dakota just went through in the Senate and the House looking at reviewing the wind laws. And they actually settled, the 50 is the existing rule, they settled back on 50 when they updated it. They've had one complaint over the last decade to the Public Services Commission from a landowner that got then resolved with the company. So in their experience and what they were basing on, so they used the 50. Many other counties and jurisdictions that they use that. You have others that will use the 45, and candidly, as we've talked about tonight, Vermont went and decided to use 39. And so where does it go? It really comes down to, and again, charged with groups like this board, is what are you comfortable with? What do you want to do? And so we'll see ordinances where I do a lot of work with various counties on ordinances when these types, exactly like we're doing here tonight. What is the right number? What is an appropriate number? And ultimately it is. It's up to the elected officials and the appointed officials, and on advice from state and everybody else. So there really isn't a magic number, but I can tell you there are lots of projects where 50 is the number. A lot of developers now are going to 45 anyway. Even if the number is 50, they're self-imposing.
Right, and the specific number, we're seeing 45 as kind of being that self-imposed number that people are settling on.
Dan?
I have a couple of things. I noticed one of your slides said some quote from Dr. Jeff Leventhal. Dr. Jeff Leventhal was hired by a wind company.
What?
Okay. I said Dr. Jeff Leventhal was paid for by a wind company.
Well, he's an independent consultant out of the UK, yeah. He doesn't work with the wind industry as well as
Excuse me.
others.
I had personal contact with him. He did a study on wind turbines. And his study concluded that they're useless, that they disturbed everybody's sleep, nobody liked them. And then in 2005, when they were hired by JP Morgan, he changed all the results of his studies. I went down to the office, and it was after Nina's book had come out, and Mark Lyons, project director, said, "Ann, let me show you an email I got from Jeff Leventhal." So, they travel with their laptops, go behind his desk, he opens up the email. It says, "As a paid consultant for Noble Environmental Power, I, Dr. Jeff Leventhal, have to say," and I walked out. Mark says, "Well, wait. Wait for what?" He's paid for. Whatever's in that paper was paid for him to say it.
Well, okay, so Jeff's not here, but give me a second, I'm going to try to respond a little bit to what you're...
I'm not done.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So JP Morgan printed something in our local paper about me saying something about Jeff Leventhal. And after my visit there, Jeff Leventhal actually did a letter to the editor of our local newspaper apologizing to me. So he's not a good example for you to have up there because he's been paid. He's been paid to say that.
May I respond?
Now,
Let me respond. Come on, in fairness, let me respond. So
I don't
I know
wanna
Jeff
lose my
very
train
well.
of thought.
Jeff, Dr. Leventhal, very well respected international acoustician. He's appeared in front of a number of tribunals and hearings here in North America. So I'm not gonna depending on that side, I can't speak specifically to what you're saying there, but I can tell you that
I
Dr.
can.
Leventhal is a very well-respected international
I
specialist in
can
this
also
field.
tell you that he's really not respected by Audubon in the United States.
Okay, well, we'll have to agree to disagree on that.
This,
Go ahead.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, and we got other people that wanna talk in, please.
We have a lot to do
We
tonight.
got.
they had a lot of time, okay? They're public, I'm public, we get equal time.
We also
No,
I just have a few statements.
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Okay. These are peer reviews, okay? You say there's no peer reviews. They're from Harvard, they're from Johns Hopkins. It's Nina's book. And I am a representative for Nina.
I didn't say that there were no peer reviews, what I said was it was self-published. That's not, I did not say that she didn't.
It is peer reviewed.
I recognize that Dr.
And
Pierpont had
the
colleagues review the
doctor,
book.
the doctor next to her that you had on the slide just came out with a journal article about a week ago. She did discover vibroacoustic disease.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to agree to
And
disagree on that, because
she,
there's nobody else other
she
than
is
her
in
that
medical
believes that.
journals, and she
But she's
recently
not.
published. She's recently published,
Okay, so she had,
and we worked with her when we were researching for this book.
okay, so what I would suggest to you is that Dr. Elvis Perez's work has been reviewed on a number of occasions by a number of tribunals, a number of courts, a number of medical agencies, and outside of her one group of collaborators, there's vibroacoustic disease is not listed by any medical organization in the world. It is not something,
Yes,
it
it
is
is.
not real.
Yes, it
No,
is.
it's not.
It is, we've seen it many times.
Okay.
And,
But it's
please.
not.
And here's,
No,
you always cut me short, Fred, you never let me have time.
I think I gave you plenty
Well,
of
other
time.
people wanna
If you're
talk.
doing personal
Okay,
attacks, you're
this
not
isn't
getting to
new
the point,
science.
please.
This is new stuff.
And you're not getting to the point, you're doing personal attacks on someone that's not here, please. Go ahead. Forgive me, please.
So in reference to your self-reported complaints impacts, these studies aren't going to give you accurate account of the impact on the community due to the gag order sections of the lease agreements, good neighbor agreements, and pilot agreements. Olson admitted before the tribunal that he was taking one course in epidemiology and one lecture on acoustics while being used as an expert witness in the Gun Hill appeal. He's not a health provider or licensed by any health professional regulating body. And your testimony at hearings has come into question. I've seen many of them, and I've read all of them.
So in fact, it has not, and in every one of the hearings that I have provided testimony in, I've been certified as an expert specializing in environmental health and wind turbines, every single one of them. And
Not
I'm not an acoustician.
So what are you talking about sound
I-
for?
Because sound is an environmental contaminant.
I'm well
Sound,
aware.
so, and I deal with, and when I'm schooled, trained, and you're pulling something off of Wind Concerns Ontario or Ontario Wind Resistance. It's
No.
not what the
File
hearing,
documents.
the hearing of the record actually says that based on, in part, for the Gun Hill testimony, that project was approved. In part based on the testimony that I provided. It is.
Why?
I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's
could-
great.
Well, and so you're
Because
asking where my
providing
qualifications
support-
come
You're
from.
providing support for them in our town. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're listening to you. Our expert talked, and they weren't even looking at him. No one asked questions on this board when our expert talked. And he was
Yes, we
free.
did.
You did. The
I
rest
asked
of
him a
them
question
didn't.
too.
So, but he was free. I mean, how much are the both of you getting paid to do this project?
So I am a professional, and I am
Our money.
yeah.
Quit to answering with those long sentences. You're burning up time.
I'm
Just
an
tell us how
expert
much you're
in
getting
the
paid.
field of what I do. Obviously,
I
I do get
This is
paid,
going south
but
now.
I get paid
It
to
is,
do
because
a
they're being
professional.
used. It's going
I
south.
get paid to do a professional job, to do my thing. And where I would suggest, again, if you look at every one of those tribunals and hearings, all of which I provided to this board in a CD, I'm certified as an independent expert in the field.
No.
You're not.
You're paid expert.
You're not.
Not independent, sir.
Lori, in the back, you had your hand up.
You're not educated.
Okay, you both like to say that there's no problem with noise or anything like that, can either of you explain the phenomenon
I
then?
can't hear you, sorry.
Can either of you explain why at times it is louder, the noise from the turbines is louder inside people's homes than outside? When you say it's gonna be less. Well, we have people that have come from Chattagay and testified here in front of a bunch of different groups that it's happened to him. And actually, a member of the Hopkins and Witt Advisory Board went to his house and he told me, oh my God, it's louder in Kevin's house than it is outside. That's what we're concerned about. That, I have more questions, but I'll let you answer that one.
Obviously, I can't respond to Chattagay, I haven't been there, I don't know the house. What I have found in my personal testing, when I've gone and tested, is it is not louder inside versus outside.
Can I give you his address then? You wanna go over there?
Spend the night?
He's moved.
Oh, because he couldn't stand living there
Yeah.
anymore. Okay, so here's the next question that I have. The World Health Organization data that you're talking about is nearly 20 years old. Do you agree or disagree that the turbines have changed significantly in the last 20 years and that the World Health Organization data is outdated?
Okay, so I'll try to unpack that a little bit. So although it is in some cases 20 to, 10 to 20 years old, right? Again, as I was saying, noise has been studied, environmental noise, whether it's from L trains, whether it's from highway traffic, airports, and it is an extremely well-studied science. And in fact, both of those World Health Organization documents didn't review wind turbine noise at all. So those numbers have stood up over the test of time every time, and people still collect data on airports, on roads, on all of these things. And now